When a woman truly falls in love, it's never random and it's never accidental. Love is not sparked by surface level attraction alone. It's a deep emotional experience that is triggered by only two powerful forces. If you've ever wondered why some men effortlessly inspire devotion while others struggle to keep a woman's heart, it's because women are wired to fall in love for reasons far deeper than charm or compliments. Today, I'm breaking down the raw psychology behind why women truly fall in love. And if you understand this, you will never chase validation again, because you'll know exactly what speaks to her soul and ignites that deep connection she can't forget. When it comes to what truly makes a woman fall deeply in love, it is rarely about the physical appearance that society places so much emphasis on. While physical attraction may spark initial curiosity, it is emotional safety that sustains a deep connection and creates an unshakable bond between a man and a woman. Emotional safety is a sense of deep comfort and trust that allows her to feel she can be vulnerable without fear of judgment, criticism, or abandonment. It is the invisible energy that makes her heart relax in your presence because she knows she is seen and valued for who she is rather than what she offers or how she looks. A woman's emotional world is far more complex than surface-level attraction, and while a good appearance may capture her attention momentarily, it is emotional security that captivates her soul and keeps her invested in a man long-term. Many men underestimate this truth, believing that being physically attractive, dressing well, or having material possessions is enough to win her heart. But they quickly learn that a woman's heart responds to something far deeper, something that cannot be faked or purchased, something that reflects your strength of character and the emotional stability you bring into her life. Women fall in love with the way a man makes them feel in his presence, and that feeling of emotional safety is created through consistency, trustworthiness, and emotional intelligence. When a man is grounded in himself, not swayed by external chaos, and able to hold space for her emotions without being reactive or dismissive, he creates a safe environment where she can open up. This is not about fixing her problems or controlling her emotions, but about allowing her to feel safe expressing herself without fear of being belittled or shamed. A woman feels emotional safety when she knows her vulnerability will be met with understanding, when she senses she does not have to hide her true self, and when she realizes she is accepted even in her imperfections. This depth of security is what makes her feel connected to a man on a soul level, because in a world where women often feel pressured to look perfect or meet unrealistic standards, finding someone who provides emotional safety feels like an oasis, a rare sanctuary where she can finally let her guard down and be her authentic self. Many men spend years perfecting their appearance, building wealth, and creating an image to attract women, yet they overlook the fact that emotional safety is the ultimate form of masculine power. Physical appearance may catch her attention, but emotional presence is what keeps her heart tied to yours. Women instinctively test a man's emotional strength to see if he can truly provide that sense of security, and when he can, she feels naturally drawn to him in a way she cannot explain logically. It is not about being overly soft or passive. In fact, emotional safety is created by strength, boundaries, and emotional stability. When a man is calm under pressure, when he refuses to engage in unnecessary drama, when he has control over his emotions without suppressing them, he radiates a quiet confidence that makes her feel safe in his presence. She knows she can lean on him, not because he will solve every problem for her, but because he has the inner strength to remain steady and reliable no matter what life throws their way. And this level of emotional grounding is far more attractive to a woman than any physical feature or material possession could ever be. This is why emotional safety outweighs physical appearance in the hierarchy of attraction, because a woman's desire is deeply connected to her sense of trust and security. She does not fall in love with abs or a sharp jawline. She falls in love with the way a man makes her feel emotionally grounded and understood. When she feels emotionally safe, she becomes more open, affectionate, and feminine because her nervous system relaxes around you. This creates a powerful polarity where she feels free to embrace her natural softness and vulnerability, which in turn makes her even more attracted to your masculine energy. True attraction is not built on surface level looks, but on the deeper emotional bond that develops when a man prioritizes creating safety over seeking validation through appearance. Emotional safety is not something you say, but something you embody. And when a woman senses that in you, she will naturally trust you, respect you, and fall in love with you because you are providing something most men cannot. And that is why emotional safety will always hold more weight in her heart than any external feature you could ever possess. Masculine energy is not about aggression or dominance, and it is not about appearing tough or loud to earn validation. It is a calm, grounded presence that naturally commands respect without ever needing to demand it. A man who radiates true masculine energy carries himself in a way that makes people instinctively trust and admire him because he exudes a quiet strength that cannot be faked. Women are deeply drawn to this energy because it creates a sense of safety and admiration simultaneously. Masculine energy is a reflection of inner discipline, emotional control, and an unwavering sense of purpose. And when a man operates from this space, he does not need to chase approval or prove his worth because his presence speaks louder than words. This energy is not defined by physical size or appearance, but by the way you hold yourself, the way you respond under pressure, and the way you remain unshaken by external chaos. When a woman encounters a man with true masculine energy, she feels an instinctive pull toward him, not because he tries to impress her, but because he embodies stability in a world full of uncertainty. And that stability is what earns him her respect and admiration on the deepest level. True masculine energy is not reactive, it is steady and intentional. A man who operates from this energy is not easily triggered, and he does not allow temporary emotions to dictate his actions. He moves with a sense of certainty because he knows who he is and what he stands for, and this creates a level of confidence that is magnetic. Women can sense this energy without him needing to say a word, because masculine energy is felt more than it is spoken. It is in the way you walk into a room with calm assurance, in the way you maintain eye contact without arrogance, in the way you listen without rushing to speak, and in the way you lead without forcing control. Masculine energy is about being rooted in yourself, being unshaken by others' opinions, and being able to remain emotionally grounded even when situations become challenging. This is what makes a woman trust you deeply because she sees that you are not easily swayed, and she knows that your strength is not about ego, but about self-mastery. When a man embodies masculine energy, he creates a natural polarity that allows a woman to fully embrace her feminine side, and this dynamic is one of the most powerful forces of attraction. She feels drawn to your strength because it allows her to relax, to trust, and to feel safe expressing her emotions without fear of judgment. This does not mean you suppress your emotions or avoid vulnerability. Rather, it means you have emotional control and can navigate challenges with composure. Women deeply respect a man who can lead with calm authority, not through controlling behavior, but through his ability to make decisions with clarity and confidence. Masculine energy is not about trying to dominate. It is about being a protector, a provider, and a leader of your own life. When you are a man who stands firm in his boundaries, who is disciplined in his habits, and who does not let external validation dictate his value, you naturally earn respect from everyone around you because your strength is undeniable. This is why masculine energy is not something that can be faked or put on like a mask. It is a result of the inner work you do to become a man of character and integrity. It comes from facing challenges head on, from learning emotional resilience, and from creating a life that reflects your values and purpose. A man who has this energy does not beg for attention or validation because he is too focused on his mission to waste energy seeking approval. Women admire men who have direction and vision, and this admiration comes from seeing that you are not afraid to lead your life with intention. Masculine energy is a balance of strength and emotional intelligence, of being grounded and yet compassionate, of being protective yet never controlling. It is a rare quality because it requires discipline, self-awareness, and the courage to stand alone if necessary. But this rarity is what makes it so magnetic. A woman's heart responds to this energy because it allows her to trust you, respect you, and see you as someone who provides stability in a world that often feels unstable. And when you carry this kind of presence, you never have to chase respect because it naturally follows you wherever you go. A man's purpose is one of the most magnetic forces that draws a woman in, because purpose is not just about having a job or achieving goals. It is about embodying a deep sense of direction and vision that defines who you are at your core. When a man is clear about his mission in life, it creates a gravitational pull that others cannot ignore, especially women who are naturally drawn to a man with ambition and focus. Purpose reflects inner strength, self-awareness, and leadership, and these qualities speak to a woman's deepest desires for safety and admiration. A man without purpose often feels lost, uncertain, and unstable, and this energy is felt instantly because it creates confusion rather than confidence. Women are highly intuitive, and they are attracted to men who move through life with intention, who know why they do what they do, and who have the discipline to stay committed to their vision even when life becomes difficult. A sense of drive communicates that you are not just existing, but living with passion and meaning. And this intensity is irresistible because it shows her that you are not waiting for life to happen to you. You are creating it. A man's drive is one of the clearest reflections of his masculine energy because it shows his ability to take action, overcome obstacles, and remain consistent in the pursuit of his goals. Women do not fall for men simply because of their looks or status. They fall for men who radiate ambition, who are relentless in becoming the best version of themselves, and who never settle for mediocrity. Drive is attractive because it communicates growth, and growth is something every woman desires in a partner. A man who is constantly evolving, improving, and striving to achieve something greater is a man who naturally earns admiration. This is not about being obsessed with success or working non-stop. It is about showing that you have a reason to wake up every day and push forward. When a man has this kind of focus, he becomes magnetic because his energy speaks of passion, resilience, and strength. And this creates a natural sense of respect and desire in a woman. She knows that a man with drive is a man who will not crumble under pressure because he has built himself through discipline and commitment. Purpose also creates emotional polarity in a relationship because it allows a woman to step fully into her feminine energy. When a man has a mission bigger than himself, he creates a sense of security because she knows he is not easily distracted or dependent on her for validation. A man with a strong purpose is not clingy, he is not insecure, and he is not seeking constant reassurance because his self-worth is tied to his mission rather than external approval. This makes him deeply attractive because women crave a man they can look up to, someone who inspires them by the way he lives his life. A man who leads with purpose does not need to control or dominate. His presence alone commands respect because he is deeply rooted in his vision. Women are naturally drawn to this stability because it allows them to relax and trust him, knowing that he is capable of leading not just himself, but also his relationship with clarity and direction. Purpose and drive are what separate men who merely exist from men who are unforgettable. When a woman sees that you are passionate about your life, that you have goals you are working toward, and that you refuse to settle for less than what you are capable of achieving, she feels an instant attraction that goes beyond the physical. Drive shows that you are a man of depth, a man of vision, and a man who takes responsibility for his life. In a world where so many men drift without direction, a man with purpose stands out because his energy is rare and captivating. He does not need to chase approval or beg for attention because his focus and ambition already set him apart. Women fall in love with men who inspire them, and inspiration comes from watching a man who lives with discipline and intention. This is why drive is one of the most powerful forms of masculine energy. It creates security, admiration, and a magnetic presence that cannot be ignored. And when you live your life with purpose, you do not need to convince anyone of your worth because it speaks through your actions. Your growth and your unwavering commitment to becoming the man you are meant to be, one of the most underrated yet powerful traits a man can embody, is consistency, because consistency is what transforms attraction into trust and trust into deep emotional connection. In a world where so many people act impulsively, change their words as easily as they change their moods, and fail to follow through on their promises, a man who is consistent stands out as a source of stability and reliability. Women are naturally wired to seek security, not just physical, but emotional, and nothing builds that security more effectively than a man whose actions align with his words. Consistency is not just about showing up when it's convenient. It's about demonstrating through your behavior that you are dependable, that you can be trusted, and that your presence is steady no matter the circumstances. When a woman sees that you are not easily swayed, that you mean what you say, and that you follow through, even when it's difficult, it creates a deep sense of respect and admiration that makes her feel safe to let her guard down and open herself to you emotionally. Consistency is a reflection of self-discipline and emotional maturity because it takes strength to remain grounded and stable when life tests you. A man who is consistent does not rely on grand gestures or temporary displays of affection to gain a woman's interest. Instead, he builds trust over time by proving that he can be counted on. Women notice everything, and they can sense when a man's behavior is erratic or when his energy is rooted in insecurity rather than confidence. Inconsistency breeds doubt, and doubt is the greatest enemy of emotional attraction. A woman cannot feel safe to be vulnerable if she constantly questions whether you will be there for her or whether your actions will match your promises. This is why consistency is far more attractive than charm, because while charm can capture attention, consistency is what keeps her heart invested. It shows her that your words are not empty, that your affection is not conditional, and that your interest in her is not fleeting but genuine and stable. Consistency also builds desire because stability creates an emotional foundation that allows her to fully embrace her femininity. When a woman feels safe with a man, she naturally becomes more open, nurturing, and connected, which deepens the bond between you. Women crave men who they can trust, not just because trust feels safe, but because it allows them to admire and respect you on a deeper level. A man who is consistent demonstrates that he has control over himself, his emotions, and his actions, which is incredibly attractive because it shows leadership and strength. He is not reactive. He does not allow temporary feelings to dictate his behavior, and he is not swayed by external chaos, which gives her the reassurance that she can lean on him. This does not mean being perfect or emotionless. It means being dependable, being someone whose presence and energy remain steady even when life feels unpredictable. A man who embodies this level of consistency is a rare find, and that rarity makes him magnetic because women know that consistency is the foundation of true love, trust, and connection. Consistency is also a reflection of how a man values himself, because a man who is consistent in his behavior is a man who has built habits and principles that guide his life. He is not trying to impress or manipulate. Instead, he is simply living in alignment with his values, and that alignment makes him trustworthy without him needing to prove himself. A woman will always respect a man who does what he says he will do, who shows up for himself and for her without making excuses, and who does not rely on emotional highs and lows to maintain her interest. This kind of stability makes her feel safe enough to invest in the relationship emotionally because she knows she is building something real with someone who is steady and intentional. Consistency is the bridge between attraction and commitment, and without it, even the strongest chemistry will eventually fade. A man who is consistent builds an emotional connection so strong that she cannot help but desire him more deeply over time because he represents something rare in today's world. A man whose character speaks louder than his words, whose actions are a reflection of his integrity, and whose steady presence allows her to feel both secure and passionately drawn to him at the same time. True confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities a man can possess. But it is important to understand that real confidence is not about arrogance, pride, or projecting an inflated sense of self-worth. Confidence without ego is quiet, grounded, and deeply rooted in self-awareness rather than external validation. It is the kind of confidence that does not need to be announced because it is felt through presence, actions, and energy. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude this level of calm assurance because it shows emotional strength and inner security. A man who is confident without ego is not trying to impress or dominate others to prove his worth. He simply knows who he is, what he values, and what he stands for, and that unwavering self-assurance is incredibly attractive. Confidence becomes irresistible when it is authentic because women feel safe around a man who is secure in himself, a man who does not rely on approval from others to feel powerful, and a man whose value does not rise and fall based on external circumstances. This kind of confidence comes from a deep level of self-respect and self-mastery, and it cannot be faked. Men who confuse confidence with ego often end up pushing women away because ego is rooted in insecurity. When a man feels the need to constantly prove himself, brag about his achievements, or diminish others to feel superior, it signals weakness rather than strength. Women are highly intuitive, and they can sense the difference between authentic confidence and arrogance. Arrogance feels heavy and repelling because it is built on a fragile foundation, while true confidence feels magnetic because it is steady and unshakable. A man with authentic confidence does not need to be the loudest in the room. He is comfortable in silence, in observing, in leading without seeking attention. His energy commands respect because he does not waver in his identity, and this is what makes him stand out without even trying. Confidence without ego draws people in because it creates a sense of safety and admiration, and a woman feels more feminine and open around a man who carries himself with this kind of strength and humility. Confidence without ego also means emotional control. A man who is truly confident is not easily triggered, nor does he feel the need to compete for dominance in every interaction. Instead, he is calm, decisive, and self-assured because he is rooted in his own worth. Women respect a man who does not lose himself in chaos or insecurity, a man who can remain centered even when others around him are reactive. This emotional steadiness communicates leadership, and leadership is deeply attractive because it shows he can handle responsibility and navigate challenges with composure. A confident man does not use his strength to intimidate. He uses it to protect, guide, and create a sense of safety for those around him. He does not need to seek validation or approval because his confidence comes from living in alignment with his values and continuously striving to become a stronger, more disciplined version of himself. This type of confidence is rare because it is not built on external things like money, looks, or social status, but on inner resilience, self-awareness, and character. What makes confidence without ego even more powerful is that it allows a man to connect with others on a genuine level. When a man is not driven by insecurity, he can show empathy, kindness, and respect without feeling like it diminishes his strength. Women are deeply attracted to this balance because it shows emotional intelligence. A man who is confident without ego does not need to belittle others to feel powerful. He lifts others up because he is secure in himself. He is able to express vulnerability without shame because he knows it does not make him weak. It makes him human, and his willingness to be authentic only deepens her respect for him. Confidence without ego is not about perfection. It is about owning who you are fully and showing up with authenticity and integrity. Women are drawn to men who carry themselves with quiet assurance because this energy makes them feel protected and inspired, and it sets a man apart from those who are constantly performing for attention. A confident man with humility becomes unforgettable because he embodies both strength and grace. And that balance is what makes a woman feel both safe and deeply attracted at the same time. Emotional depth is a quality that separates a man who merely exists from a man who leaves a lasting impact on every woman he encounters. Because emotional depth is not about being overly expressive or dramatic. It is about being deeply connected to your own emotions, your values, and your sense of purpose in a way that allows you to connect with others on a profound level. A man with emotional depth is not afraid to feel, to reflect, and to understand himself beyond the surface. And this self-awareness gives him an aura of strength that is rare and magnetic. Women are naturally drawn to a man who has this depth because it signals emotional intelligence, maturity, and the ability to form a genuine bond. Emotional depth does not make a man weak. In fact, it is one of the greatest displays of strength because it requires courage to be honest about who you are, to embrace your vulnerabilities without letting them define you, and to have the emotional discipline to respond to challenges with wisdom rather than reactivity. A man who embodies emotional depth is a man who can truly see and understand a woman, not just on a physical or superficial level, but on a soul level. And that level of understanding creates a connection that cannot be replicated. Leadership is a natural extension of emotional depth because a man who understands himself deeply and is grounded in his emotions is capable of guiding others with strength and clarity. True leadership is not about control or dominance. It is about influence, vision, and the ability to inspire trust through consistent action and integrity. A man with leadership qualities is not the loudest in the room, nor does he need to constantly assert authority. Instead, he leads by example, by embodying discipline, decisiveness, and a strong moral compass. Women respect and are drawn to this kind of leadership because it represents safety and direction. Leadership provides a sense of security because it shows that you are capable of handling life's challenges, making difficult decisions, and navigating chaos with a level head. Women naturally gravitate toward men who can lead not just themselves, but also their relationships, because this leadership allows them to relax into their feminine energy, knowing that they are with a man who is confident and capable enough to guide them without needing to control them. Emotional depth and leadership together create a dynamic combination that is incredibly attractive because it balances strength with empathy. A man who is deeply connected to himself is not afraid to be compassionate, to listen, and to provide emotional support, yet he does so without losing his masculine frame or becoming overly emotional. This balance is rare because many men either suppress their emotions to appear strong or become so consumed by their feelings that they lose their sense of direction. Emotional depth means having the courage to face your emotions, to understand them, and to use that understanding to grow stronger. While leadership means having the ability to guide yourself and others through life's storms with calm authority. Women find this balance deeply appealing because it creates trust, respect, and a sense of emotional intimacy that goes beyond physical attraction. When a man is both emotionally